My name is Amber, and if you had asked me at 16 what my future looked like, I would have told you something simple. Graduate high school, maybe go to college, get a steady job. Make my mother proud. I never imagined that at 16, I would be standing on my own front porch, holding a small suitcase with nowhere to go. But that's exactly where my life changed. I wasn't a rebellious kid. I didn't party. I didn't sneak out. I didn't get into trouble. I was the kind of daughter most parents didn't have to worry about. I got good grades. I came home on time. I helped with chores. I respected my mother, and I loved her. That's why what happened hurt the way it did. I had a boyfriend named Jake. We had been together for about a year. He was kind, patient, and just as young and unsure about life as I was. We weren't reckless. We were just teenagers who made one mistake, one moment that changed everything. I found out I was pregnant on a quiet afternoon after school. I remember staring at the test in my bathroom, my hands shaking so badly I had to sit down. Fear hit first, then confusion. Then something I didn't expect, hope. I remember thinking, this is my baby. And right after that, another thought followed. My mom will help me. She has to. She's my mother. That belief carried me all the way to the living room where she was sitting. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She didn't even ask me if I was okay. She just looked at me. Not like I was her daughter, like I was a stranger who had disappointed her in the worst possible way. "You're pregnant?" she asked, her voice flat. I nodded, tears already building in my eyes. There was a long silence, and then she said words that would echo in my mind for years. "You will not bring a bastard child into this house." No softness, no hesitation, no love, just judgment. I tried to speak, tried to explain, tried to say I was scared, that I didn't know what to do, that I needed her, but she had already made up her mind. "You have 2 days," she said. "Figure it out." 2 days. That was all I got. 2 days to pack my life. 2 days to process the fact that my own mother was throwing me out. 2 days to go from being a child to being completely on my own. On the second day, she handed me a suitcase. She had packed it herself, not with care, but with finality. Clothes, a few essentials. Nothing sentimental, nothing that said you matter. When I stood at the door, I kept waiting, waiting for her to stop me. Waiting for her to say, "I'm angry, but I love you." Waiting for something, anything, that felt like a mother. But it never came. Instead, she opened the door and said, "You made your choice. Now live with it." No hug, no goodbye, no "I love you." Just a door closing behind me. I was 16 years old, pregnant, alone. I called Jake. His parents weren't cruel, but they weren't prepared for me either. They let me stay in their basement for a few weeks, but it was clear I wasn't part of their plan. I could see it in the way they spoke to me, in the way they avoided eye contact, in the way every day felt temporary, and eventually it was. What followed were the hardest months of my life. Shelters, food banks, long nights wondering how I was going to survive, not just for me, but for the baby growing inside me. There were moments I wanted to give up, moments I felt invisible. Moments I asked myself the same question over and over. How could my own mother do this to me? But even in the darkest moments, something inside me refused to break. Maybe it was stubbornness. Maybe it was fear. Or maybe it was love for the child I hadn't even met yet. I got help from a social worker who saw something in me I couldn't see in myself. She helped me enroll in a GED program. She helped me find part-time work. She reminded me, over and over again, that my life wasn't over. It was just beginning differently. When my daughter Lily was born, everything changed. The moment I held her, something inside me shifted. The fear didn't disappear, but it became secondary. Because now it wasn't just about surviving. It was about giving her a life better than mine. We lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment. Second-hand furniture, hand-me-down clothes. Some nights were so tight financially that I skipped meals just to make sure she had enough. But she was loved. Every single day, in ways I had needed when I was her age. Years passed. Slowly, painfully, but steadily, I worked. I studied. I pushed forward. I eventually put myself through nursing school. It wasn't easy. There were nights I studied after putting Lily to bed, barely able to keep my eyes open. But I finished. I became a registered nurse. And for the first time in my life, I felt stable. I met a man who didn't see me as broken. He saw me as strong. We got married. We built a home. We had a son. And Lily, she grew into someone I was endlessly proud of. Smart, kind, resilient. Everything I had hoped she would be. Everything my mother said I would never be. For 20 years, my mother was silent. No calls, no letters, no birthdays. No acknowledgement that I or her granddaughter existed. I heard things through relatives, that she told people I was dead to her, that I had ruined my life. Eventually, I stopped caring. Or at least I told myself I did. I built a life without her, and I made peace with the fact that she would never be part of it. Then one day, my phone rang. I saw the name. Mom! My heart stopped. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I didn't answer. I couldn't, but she left a voicemail. Her voice was weaker than I remembered. Amber, it's me. Please call me back. I'm at the hospital. I need you. I listened to that message 3 times, and then I just sat there, staring at nothing. I went to the hospital, not because I wanted closure, not because I forgave her, but because I'm a nurse, and I knew what it meant when someone said they needed help from a hospital bed. She looked small, fragile. Nothing like the woman who had once stood so strong in that doorway. Machines surrounded her. Dialysis, monitors, her skin was pale, her eyes were tired. When she saw me, she cried. She told me everything. Kidney failure, no match in the family, except possibly me. Please, she said, you're my daughter. That word, daughter, hit differently after 20 years of silence. I went home, I talked to my husband, my daughter. Lily was angry, and honestly, she had every right to be. She doesn't deserve you, she said, and she was right. But this wasn't about what she deserved. It was about who I was. I got tested. I was a match. That night I didn't sleep. I thought about everything. The pain, the abandonment. The years I struggled without her. And then I asked myself one question: what kind of person do I want to be? The answer came quietly, but clearly. I chose to donate my kidney, not for her, but for me, because I refused to let her actions define mine. I refused to carry bitterness into the rest of my life. I refused to become someone hardened by pain. The surgery was successful. When she woke up, she cried, apologized, over and over again. And for the first time in my life, I saw something real in her: regret. I looked at her and I told her the truth. I didn't do this for you. I did this so I could look at myself and know that I'm not you. She cried harder, and maybe for the first time she understood. We're not close. We never will be. Some things don't get repaired, but I don't carry anger anymore. And that is freedom. Because in the end, she threw me away, and I still chose to save her, not because she deserved it, but because I deserved to be better. And that was my real victory.